PokeRamble Podcast.
Yes, we have a Pokemon Presents giving us plenty of gifts. We'll be going through all of it right now. Welcome to episode 53 of the PokeRamble Podcast. I'm your host, Camille, and joining me for the first time is a special guest, Darth.
Hi Camille, how's it going? Hope you are happy from all we saw today.
I'm very, very, very excited to get down into these details. Usually when we have like a Pokemon Presents, I usually give it a day or two before digging into it, just to get my thoughts together. But I couldn't wait for today because wow, I was not expecting that. But how are you doing today?
Good. I think we got an update on everything we wanted to. I mean, some are small, some are gigantically huge.
Yeah.
But I think everyone should be happy for what we saw.
Yeah. And so Darth, you're new to the show. What's the story behind your name, Darth?
Oh, my name. It's a mix of Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. So Stridius is like Strider and giving it more of a dark, a Star Wars Sith name to it. Mm-hmm. So kind of where it came from.
Oh, fair. And just quickly before we get into the sort of the run of the show, what was your relationship with the Pokemon franchise? Sort of where did you start and sort of where are you at the moment with your Pokemon journey?
I started from Gen 1. I played Red or Blue. Then kind of stopped playing. That was because I was a kid then. I didn't have many of the other handhelds, I don't think. And when I went into university, Gen 4 was about to drop. So replayed Gen Fire Red. Then from Gen 4 on, pretty much I played everything old Pokemon generation stuff for 5. 5 I dabbled in, but didn't really finish it. But other than that, I've been a Pokemon fan like heavily since Gen 4 and mainly more on the combat side.
Oh, so you kind of like the competitive side as well, do you?
Yes, I love the competitive side.
Nice. And what's your favorite Pokemon? Sorry to put you on the spot.
Oh, Gliscor. Hopefully we'll see him in at some point soon.
Yeah, I mean he matches the color palette of the game we'll be discussing a bit later.
True.
But let's get into the first part of the show. So every episode's got its own Pokemon that represents it. So this is episode 53. Now, episode 52 was episode Meowth, but we didn't talk about it because that was more of a review episode. So episode 53 is going to be about Meowth and Persian. So these two Pokemon, have you got any particular memories with them, or what do you think about Meowth? What do you think about Persian?
I mean, everyone has, I think, memories of Meowth if you watch the anime, right?
Yes, yeah.
And him, how he learned to talk and how that kind of sad story is sad. And you also got to remember, there's also Berserker here, too. It's his Galarian form. And looks like he might see the normal form back in the Gen 9.
Oh, yeah, it was the little Under the Moon. Yeah. Mostly Meowth and Persian I remember from the anime, with Persian being Giovanni's sort of pet, sort of like loyal companion, and then you've got Meowth who's always getting himself into trouble, but it's a charming Pokemon at the end of the day, Meowth. And I do like his Alolan form. Not Persian's Alolan form though. It looks like a dish.
Oh right, he had forms at Gen 7 and 8.
Yeah. Surprisingly,
it's kind of weird to see them having. That's the only Pokemon was two different forms.
Two different forms, yeah.
I didn't like the Persian. It was too, I guess, tabby-like, too cow's cat. And then Berserker makes sense if you look at like the Pokedex of like Persian, whereas like barbaric and stuff. So
yeah, I did like its typing as well in Galar. So
yeah,
but that's Meowth and Persian. So what we'll do, we'll go into our first section where we're going to be talking about the Pokemon Presents. And I've messed up the transition. See, I'm rusty. Okay, let me do this again. There we go. Fantastic. So, what's Pokemon going on? Well, Pokemon Presents, the big news about the Pokemon Go and the Pokemon Presents is that Generation 7 is coming to Pokemon Go. Now, is Pokemon Go one of the things that you play, or is it something you used to play? What do you think about Pokemon Go?
I mean, I think it's everyone, right? You dabbled in it when it came out. You met up with friends. Arm team, whatever the other ones. I forget the team names now.
Yeah.
That's how much I've played it lately. I try to get back into it. It's just that when I like going out for walks, I want to walk. I don't have my phone like in front of my face, so it just doesn't really suit how I want to work, like walk and stuff. Like, yeah, I just don't
You
like,
mean you don't want to walk off a pier whilst looking at your phone and
yes,
break your leg?
yes, things like that. I'd rather enjoy the scenery,
Yeah.
right, instead of having my phone in front of me looking for, ooh, where's this Pokemon?
Mm.
So yeah, I never really got much into it. I know a lot of people love it, and that's great. It's that for me, it's like, I guess I play so much of normal gen Pokemon games that I don't need to look at for another source of it.
Mm. Well, yeah. I mean, I was big into Pokemon Go pre-pandemic, and then when the pandemic happened, sort of, I wasn't taking as many walks. I wasn't, going on my usual commute, so I kind of didn't play as much of it. And now it's kind of like on and off for me. Like recently, we just had like a Johto tour, so I was back on it for a little while. And yeah, I have my phases now, but if I'm out and about and it's not somewhere new, if it's like a monotonous routine that I've got, then I'll play some Pokemon Go. But anyway, yeah, so they're announcing the Alola region is coming on March 1st. Leading up to that, you'll be able to see Alolan Executor again for the first time in quite some time, actually. And yeah, there's not much else to it. I guess if you were playing Pokemon Go, what Pokemon from Alola would be the first one that you would want to catch?
Oof, good one. Man, I forget even what that generation. So hard to know so many Pokemon. The Harry Dugtrio.
Oh,
just for the memes.
Yeah, Dude Trio, as I like to call him.
Exactly.
The hair. Mine would probably just be Rowlet because it's just cute.
Oh, I shoot, yeah, true to starters.
Cute. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially when the ads start out for.
Yeah, I'm not gonna even bother evolving it because too cute to evolve. But yeah, that was it for Pokemon Go. So we'll move on to our next section. So you want to be a Pokemon Masters? Yes, this is the part of the show where we talk about Pokemon Masters. Actually, I'll probably talk a lot more about this next week when we've got special guest Mecha Shadow on. But Pokemon Masters, what's happening at the moment, they've introduced a new piece of content called the Victory Road. It's essentially like a tutorial to help you understand some of the mechanics a little bit better so you can tackle the harder content. Aside from that, you're going to be getting 3,000 free gems. And they've revealed the other two anniversary pairs where we already knew May was coming, in Rayhan and Flygon, and Skylar in her very nice Chongsam and Tornadus. So pretty cool looking pairs. As I said, I'll go into depth about these sync pairs and their capabilities next week with Mecha. But Darth, did you ever play Pokemon Masters, or is it something that you're looking to pick up, or?
A bit of column A, bit of column B. I dabbled in it at the beginning when it came out, of course, because Pokemon. I want to see what it is. And then when we started talking last week, I tried it again a few days ago. It's interesting. I probably give it more a shot. But I'm getting a tablet soon, so I think when that comes in, I'll probably play it on that.
That's awesome.
And see how that goes.
One of the things I like about this game is like the cross-generation interactions that you get with some of the characters, and also you get to see like different sides to characters that we already know and love. For example, Hilda, who's typically tomboyish in the mainline games. There was a story where she was trying to get used to her dress, and she's partnered up with Diancie. What do you think about these three sync pairs in front of you, like design-wise or like partner-wise? Do they do anything for you, or?
I guess for me, when I saw May with Latias, it kind of surprised me because in the show it was she's connected more to another Pokemon, right? So when I saw that, I was like, wait what? I guess something's missing I don't know about.
This game doesn't really go into sort of like anime territory. It's mostly game and manga territory where this game sort of
Gotcha.
dabbles into, and then sometimes this game is not afraid to make some like original pairs. Like Cynthia had like a Komao at like very early in this game, and only recently the anime shows Cynthia with a Komao. So yeah, they're not afraid to make original sync pairs. But yeah, I quite like the 3 they've picked for this anniversary.
Very heavy on the dragons.
Oh man, don't get started. It's there's too many dragons in this game. Like, everyone wanted another ground type because we're lacking ground types, and so when they saw Rayhan, they were like, "Oh my god, finally a ground type!" And it's like, "Nope, it's a dragon." It's
ground dragon, fair enough, but like.
Yeah, but in terms of like the usability of the pair, it's mostly dragons rather than ground. Because like with each sync pair, they've got something called a sync move. And the sync move is based off a certain type. So for May, obviously, it's a psychic sync move. Skylar is going to be a flying sync move. And Rayhan, instead of a ground sync move, they've given it a dragon sync move. So, yeah, people are not too happy. But yeah, I think I'll stop the Pokemon Masters talk there before I go on for another half an hour.
And I think you just get some goodies, right? If you play, you sign in after the...
Yeah, so every day for the past 4 days, and it's going to go on for another 6 to 10 days, you get like a free scout ticket to get 10 free pairs. And yeah, no, this game's been really good for quite a while now in terms of giving players, different ways of pulling for characters without having to spend any money. And in terms of like free gems, I think the count from now to like March 30th, people will get about, I think, 35,000 free gems, which equates to say a banner to get 11 characters costs you 3,000 gems. You're basically going to be able to guarantee a character of your choice if you're very unlucky, because the pull rates in this game are quite good. It ranges from anywhere from 7% for a 5-star to 12% for a 5-star. Yeah, a lot of free gems for people. Yeah, that is basically it for Pokemon Masters. So I shall move on section. Let's go visit the CAF. So this is the part of the show where we talk about Pokemon CAF Remix. Now this is a game, admittedly, that I maybe tried at the beginning of launch, had a little fun, and thought, nah, it's not for me. As a die-hard Pokemon Shuffle player, yeah, I just couldn't get into this sort of gameplay. But is this something that you've been playing or you tried?
I tried, and I think for me, I'm with you. I think I would rather see Shuffle or like a Pokemon Picross if they want to go with something mobile or smaller. And I feel like they're just keep trying to keep this alive in a way. Like these updates are just like, okay, yeah. I mean, I'm curious how many people actually play it, and felt like this is probably like the smallest of the updates that we got today in terms of like exciting news.
Yeah. So the news that we got was something called Pokemon Deliveries is going to be introduced. So Pelipper will take food to Pokemon around the place, and they'll learn about your CAF, and then there'll be a chance of these Pokemon sort of like joining your CAF. Apparently it's linked into getting new outfits as well, and it's got something to do with gimmicks, but as I don't play the game, I'm not too understanding of what gimmicks means. They're also bringing Victini into this game, and there's going to be a new puzzle mode coming earlier in 2022, so probably April or May, around that time. And lastly, there's 3 things that are happening in the game. There's going to be like a Bulbasaur's Happy Pokemon Day, so you get login bonuses for 7 days, including a celebration outfit for Bulbasaur, an increased chance to get shiny Piplup in your CAF, and you get times 11 free deliveries, which relates to the Pelipper free delivery. Yeah, that was a sort of news. I will say, for Pokemon Cafe Remix, I do like some of the designs of the Pokemon. They look adorable.
Oh, 100%. I think it'd been cooler have that design been more in a Shuffle or that kind of game. But yeah, it's very adorable looking. Just not for me.
So yeah, we'll leave it there for Pokemon Cafe Remix, and we'll move on to our next section. Team Rocket are Pokemon uniting the nation. Yeah, we've got some Pokemon Unite moves. Now, I really like playing Pokemon Unite, and I've got a friend who I regularly, I can't say the word anymore. I play Pokemon Unite with. in ranked mode. But what do you like Pokemon Unite? Is that something for you or?
I played a lot of it when it came out. I played with Mr. Mitch George a few times.
Yes, yeah. He was
Um,
a hell of a
it's
Slowbro user.
it's fun. I think it has a lot of like potential, and with they already have what like 30 in total Pokemon you can use in it. So like, and that keeps growing with the just adding two now or adding one soon.
Mm-hmm.
And the one they added recently seems pretty interesting in terms of for the meta game.
Yeah, you're talking about Hoopa, aren't you?
Yeah, with the teleportation capabilities.
So we got the news that Hoopa is in the game now that you can use for free today, but also there's an event going on where you can earn yourself a Hoopa. So yeah, no, Hoopa. I've played a few games with other people using Hoopa, and I like the gimmick of Hoopa summoning a portal and you were able to go through the portal is so fun because you can catch people off guard. And
exactly,
you can actually
right?
escape from trouble yourself. So it's quite a nice utility Pokemon, and I guess in the right hands, it's going to be very devastating to try and fight against.
Well, it also can swing the battle, right? Like if I'm just playing the left by myself and I see two Pokemon coming down on me, it's like portal opened,
yeah,
bring in someone else and you even up that fight, right? Like it could easily change momentum in a way, right? So
yeah.
I think that's gonna be an interesting part of it.
There's times where you need to defend your base or you need to quickly attack a base and you haven't got much time on the clock. Having a Hooper that can literally just get you there, yeah, it's a huge game changer.
Or bringing points in. I'm not sure how it's gonna work, but let's say like I'm right next to their opponent's goal and like I have nothing to put in, but I know you have like 30 points on you.
Yeah.
You can come in, bury, slam, dunk that bonus in, and boom.
Yeah. So I've only seen it in quick matches. I haven't seen it in ranked just yet, but it's going to be very interesting to see how people utilize it. But more excitingly, we've got another Pokemon joining the roster, and it's Duraludon. Now, I really like Duraludon as a Pokemon. In the trailer, you can see it using something that looks akin to Stealth Rocks, and then it does an AoE move and looks like it's powered up. I'm not too sure what that is. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a fun Pokemon. I mean, what do you think about Duraludon in general? Is that a Pokemon you like?
The lighter Pokemon, which I call it.
The ladder Pokemon, do you say?
I like it. It'd probably be a very slow mine, and it's gonna be interesting. Is there many single Evo mons in Unite?
Yeah, there's a few, and even like fully evolved Pokemon. Some of them are just stay as fully evolved rather than go to their base stage or. Gotcha. Some Pokemon don't evolve, like Pikachu, for example. But Pokemon Unite is quite a great game when it comes to its character selections because you get a lot of characters that you don't typically expect to see. Like Cramorant, for example, is the most easiest one that I can pull as an example. But it does have its fair share of popular Pokemon too. But yeah, I think Duraludon's a nice little add to the roster.
Do you think it'll be a support or?
I think it's going to be hyper offensive. I think.
Hyper offensive.
Yeah.
Because we could use like Stealth Rock as a more like an ambushing move.
Yeah, slow people down perhaps.
Yeah, like put it on your base so when they come in, it's like boom.
Yeah.
You take damage, right? Instead of like using it as an attack.
I'm hoping it's got Meteor Beam or Steel Beam. Sorry.
As it's like.
Yeah.
Ultimate or whatever.
Or even like just a normal move because Venusaur's got like kind of like Venusaur Solar Beam, but this one does a little bit more damage at the cost of like half your health or something. And so you use like Stealth Rock to slow them down and damage the opponent, and then whilst they're slowed down, you can use your beam to attack them.
Yeah, I do hope Stealth Rock can be such a slow down when it's like someone's kind of trying to run away from you. Like you can like Stealth Rock it, and someone else can kind of gain the advantage.
Yeah, and the other thing they said about Pokemon Unite is they're going to have days where all Pokemon will be unlocked to use in standard mode. So currently the system is that you get kind of like these license cards where you own the Pokemon and you can use them wherever and whenever you want. And sometimes they have events where you can get a license for 2 or 3 days with a certain Pokemon. So I guess this is going to be really helpful with people who want to try out different Pokemon and see if they like them enough to buy them. So I think it's a good move from the developers. But it's going to be interesting to see what dictates what days they'll have this standard mode where you can use all the characters. Like what's going to be the qualifier for it? It's going to have to be like an anniversary thing, or it's going to be like once a month. But yeah, we'll see.
I hope they do what like League of Legends does, right, where they keep some of the heroes available.
So they do that already, where you've got like a batch of they do like a batch of 4 every week.
Okay, perfect.
Random selection. But this is more like you'll have all Pokemon unlocked for, I don't know, a day or a few days. But yeah, I'm not too sure how they're going to implement it.
And then there's a new mode, right?
And the new mode, which is Full Fury Battles, which basically looks like Chaos. So, like, your Pokemon have got their standard attacks and obviously like a charge attack, and then they've got these special attacks they can use. But these special attacks have got like a cooldown, basically, which can range from anywhere like 5 seconds to like 11 seconds. This mode basically makes it that your cooldown's basically 0, and you can just keep spamming like charge moves. So it's gonna be quite chaotic. I'm hoping it's not going to be mandatory in ranked or anything like that, because
I don't see this as a ranked thing. Sorry, no. I don't think it's a ranked thing. I see this more as I'm not sure how this character works with like the synergies of his power attacks. I can see this as also a way to learn how one attack, how to use your attacks better.
Yeah, or you could just have like someone for Dragonite with the meme, I'm a firing my laser, and just going around the map and just constantly terrifying people with Hyper Beam. Like, you remember the black belt user in like Johto, where he gets hit by Lance's Dragonite's Hyper Beam? People like him are going to be sweating nervously tonight.
Yeah, I think this would be a little fun mode, and I don't think it's going to be in rank, because I think that's going to break rank.
Yeah, probably. That's what I've got for Pokemon Unite. Is there anything you want to add, or should we move on?
I think we should move on. I think what they're doing is great, and it'll be fun to see.
Yeah, and we'll move on to our next section. What a brilliant game that's shining from left to right. I don't know what that segue was. But Shaymin is officially coming to Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. So it would be like a mystery gift thing where you get Oak's letter, and then there'll be like a little mini event for you to go and catch Shaymin. And I'm quite happy they're finally doing something like this instead of just giving it to you into your box and that's it. Because I do want a little like flavor text before I go catch a Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm glad we're getting Shaymin. I think he looks adorable in the game, and it's nice that they're giving it to pretty much everyone who has owns the game until March 27th, and hopefully they after March 27th is gonna have ways so anyone else that gets the game late can get it. Because
it seems a bit strange that it's only a month. It doesn't make too much sense, does it?
Yeah, it feels kind of shitty for people who like can't afford a game right now, or I'm gonna wait longer and it's like, oh, I can't get this Pokemon anymore, and
because for some people the choice would have been either I get Legends Arceus or I get Brilliant Diamond and Pearl right now. So yeah, totally. I don't like the gating behind it. I mean, there were ways of you being able to get this Pokemon shadily, but for people that just wanted to get it legitimately and just wait for it, it's a shame that they're restricting it for a month. So hopefully your theory is right and they introduce a new way of you being able to get it. It just means I have to get my Pokemon Pearl profile loaded up and to get a second copy. Oh, man.
Yeah, it just sucks. It's like, again, it's a legendary, right? You cannot breed it, so I like to say, hey, I can give you one, right? Like,
But that's it for. I'm quite surprised that we didn't get like other mythical Pokemon as another sort of like mystery gift bonus or anything like that. Maybe they're saving it for another Pokemon Presents. Who knows? But it just seems weird to do one and not another.
And it's also going to kind of gated what Jirachi and was it Celebi? They kind of gated with you had to own Sword and Shield.
Yes.
To get them.
Yeah. Which I don't necessarily agree with, but I can see totally that people most likely would have had those games already. But yeah, no, it's just weird, just very weird.
I'd see them maybe getting it at the beginning, and hopefully maybe like like the year anniversary is like, hey, anyone can get it.
We'll see. I think that's it for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. We'll move on to our next section. Now, we're getting a software title update, and I'll call it DLC because you're still downloading something to get this. But yeah, we're getting more stuff in Pokemon Legends Arceus Daybreak. So before I talk about the Daybreak update, Pokemon Legends Arceus. We recently played it. Just quickly, I mean, what were your general thoughts with Legends Arceus, and are you excited for Daybreak?
I think we're gonna have a podcast about this kind of discussion later in the future. But for me, not that far in the game. I do really enjoy it, but for me, it's more of a game where if I want to lose an hour or so and just have fun, I'll play it. But it's not like other Pokemon games, right? Like I have that challenge. I really want to get into it and think my team and all that, right? Like I think I like it. It's just not my kind of Pokemon game. And what the update they're doing is cool. I just find it funny. It's almost very close to Monster Hunter DLC, which I think was called Sunbreak.
Yeah. Oh right, I didn't even consider that. Yeah, no, it's first you've got the Zelda comparisons, and then you had the Monster Hunter comparisons with these sort of hub areas and stuff like that, and now you've got the title, which is not ingratiating itself with people. Funny, it is funny. But yeah, we've got the Legends Arceus Daybreak software title details. So they'll be adding a new investigation into mass outbreaks, quote unquote. And it looks like these mass outbreaks are just like regular outbreaks, except for all the Pokemon are Alpha Pokemon.
Oh boy.
Cerebi reports that whenever you go out to see an outbreak, there's a chance it'll have a little star next to it. And if it's got a star next to it, it's basically called a special outbreak, which looks like it's going to be one of these alpha Pokemon outbreaks. I was talking to my friend today, and he was a bit annoyed because he's been hunting all the alpha Pokemon essentially at the moment, and he's had to be a lot more patient. And now they're making it a lot more easier for you to get the alpha Pokemon. Yeah, he's just like, oh man, why
is it
going
to be easier? Will it really be easier when you have to fight 5 of them? I mean,
just take an overpowered Pokemon with you, and or take some smoke and hide. But I guess in the catch chance of you catching it outside of a battle, yeah, it's not going to be that easy. But I think it's more of the point of it spawning, because there's guaranteed spawns of alpha Pokemon in Legends Arceus, and there's other Pokemon that are random chance to spawn in an outbreak. Legends Arceus.
Fair.
So. Yeah.
And again, I find also funny comparison to the Monster Hunter, because it feels like hard mode, which essentially what Sunbreak was to Monster Hunter, which is like the G mode or whatever, the mode after you finish a game where you have like max rank.
Yeah. Also, you're a Monster Hunter fan too, then?
I like Monster Hunter. I follow it. Like I play with friends. I didn't get much into Rise, but I know kind of how it works, and I know friends who are big Hunter fans. Cool. And you're adding more battles in this update, which I'm happy about.
Yeah, so the training ground. Yeah, so battling is like one of my favorite aspects in Pokemon. That's why I love gyms so much. I love the whole concept, and for all of its sins, Sword and Shield, I put so many hours into that game, and I still do at the moment. Yeah, more battles into the game, and it looks like there's gonna be like harder battles. For example, we look at the second screenshot on the screen. You've got Origin Form, Dialga and Palkia, and you've got, Akari and her Lucario. It looks like we're going to be fighting both of them at once, it looks like. So is that related to these battles that are being added? Who knows? I can only speculate. But yeah.
And we have the anime coming up, which looks really cute and adorable.
Yeah, so they've been really good with adding a sort of like, Twilight Wings and Evolutions, like these small mini-series that tell these stories from the Pokemon world, and I'm really excited to see these stories about Legends Arceus. Do you remember that promotion trailer that we saw that promoted Zorua, or Hisuian Zorua? Do you reckon we're going to get it animated now?
Well, it looks like that's what's following the girl, right?
Yeah.
Is that Pokemon, and I think with one of it has its own version, so I think for sure it's probably going to maybe be like her starter or her first Pokemon, right? Perhaps
it's probably going to be one of those 8-part series things. I don't think it's going to be like adapted into like a full-blown 20 minutes per week episode of Pokemon. But I'll take what I can get when it comes to the Pokemon anime.
And that styling looks great too.
Quick question about Legend Arceus: is it me, or were like battles a lot more challenging than usual, even though they removed abilities? Like, there were Pokemon that were severely underleveled compared to me, and they could still like do stupid amounts of damage.
Yeah, I think they had to do the leveling system in it. It kind of do like normal Pokemon, right? So I think it was for sure challenging. Like anytime you want to get a Pokemon with a bit higher level, it's like, oh yeah, I'd probably not be able to do this. While like in a normal game, like you could probably fight a Pokemon with like a few levels higher. Like it also felt like the AI was better in terms of like the moves they used.
Yeah,
it wasn't just always like, oh, here's Tackle or Sandstorm, which or Minimize or whatever, like non-attacking
his
moves. Like
Giga Chad could
happens in
do
the game.
Waterfall or something.
Yeah, because like in the normal the generational games, a lot of times like stupid moves, right? That the wild Pokemon do.
Yeah, wild Pokemon are not the brightest sparks. What else was there from it? Oh, we're getting free Pokeballs, so like Gigaton, Ultra, and Jet Balls, 30 of each. And there's a code for it, so check out Cerebi or something for the code. I can't remember it off the top of my head. What else is there? And yeah, I think that was basically it for the Legends Arceus news. It kind of makes me think this is not the end of Legends Arceus in terms of content. I think we're definitely going to get a bit more content down the road as well.
Oh, for sure. I think we're going to get like small updates like this, right? Like maybe like a bigger DLC down the line. But I think right now, I think we're going to need like small, like, just adding small things for people to do.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice to see that they're adding content, especially this early as well. It's only been a month, really. So yeah,
kudos, and for Nintendo to do it too, right? Because they're not really adding stuff after the game comes out, unless it's like 5 years later.
Yeah, well, thankfully they're not the majority holders of this game. Otherwise, you could definitely, you'd be waiting like 3 years, like they did with Mario Party, to add like updates,
or Mario Kart, which is like 5 years.
Yeah, fair. Okay, anything else on Pokemon Legends Arceus, or shall I move on?
Oh, let's move on. Let's get to the meaty part of this.
All right, let's move on then.
Presents.
It's a whole new world we live in. Generation 9. Wow. So, Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. Let's talk about Generation 9. So, were you expecting Generation 9 to be revealed this early, or?
I was expecting maybe like a little like hint of like, oh, it was in development here more, later on in the year kind of thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting as much as we got, right? Like.
So do you mean like when they first talked about Sun and Moon, they kind of just showed off a trailer and saying it's like, was it like a brand new adventure begins, and it was just showing like concept art and stuff like that, and just left it at that. You were expecting something like that, were you?
Or I was just expecting, like, I think when we announced Sword and Shield, we just got like the starters tease, like very minimal, here your starter kind of thing, right? Like I was kind of maybe expecting that, right? Like get ready for a new journey with these starters, right? And that was it. Like, hear more back into summer. Was more what I was thinking. Like I was thinking to hear something about it, but just not this much.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. It blows my mind. What I'll say is because obviously we had Ilka taking on the remakes, and then Legends Arceus coming very early this year, and for them to be like, oh, it's February, let's show off Gen 9 already. I'm like, wait, what? What's going on here? And it looks like they've done a fair chunk of it as well. It doesn't look like it's just a concept thing. It looks like it's actually in game. And
well, if it's coming out this year, it has to be, right? Like it's coming out in this year, they said, or 2022, right? So it's probably quite far along, and I think this just shows that their Let's Go series is probably put on the back burner for quite a while.
I don't even think. I think if we ever get Let's Go again, it's going to be radically different. I think they've learned, like, Let's Go was okay, but they weren't the best of games, if we're being honest with ourselves. But
it's not for people who love Pokemon, right? Like, again, it's for people who like Pokemon Go, and they have Pokemon Go.
Oh, I like Pokemon Go, but I didn't mind looking at Kanto in a different light, and some aspects of it were really fun. But as a Pokemon game, it was just basically stripped down to its bare bones, which was really really sad. I mean, it wasn't like a Fire Red and Leaf Green, for example.
Exactly, but we're not here talking about Let's Go. We're talking about Gen 9.
Yes. So now where Legends Arceus, everyone had a big debate whether or not it was open world, whether or not it's Breath of the Wild, blah 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 blah. On the official YouTube channel, on the website as well, they say Pokemon Gen 9 is officially revealed to be dubbed Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. Welcome to the open world of Pokemon. Embark on an open world adventure in Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet arriving on Nintendo. So they said it themselves now. So this is an actual open world game that you're finally going to be getting. So how do you feel about that?
I mean, I think it's what I'm curious about is it's gonna be open world. Like it's gonna be like each town's gonna be a hub, and it's gonna be like just a giant wild area between them, and not have any kind of like routes.
No,
like
no. I think I read somewhere that it's going to be seamless transitions into different areas. So it's like without loading and stuff like that. I think we're getting that sort of open world now instead of what we had in Legends Arceus, where it was hub based and you load into it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mean like in terms of artists. I mean more like would be more like Sword and Shield, where it's like instead of like you list like it's towns and a giant wild area instead of having like here's a wild area, but you can take these routes also to get to where you need to go, right? Like,
oh, I see what you mean. So like basically choose your own adventure style of you go to, I don't know, Violet Town instead of going to Scarlet's Town at the very beginning. Like just mapping out your own adventure rather than having to follow.
like I'm curious how it's gonna work. Like I assume we're still gonna have gym battles.
Mhm.
I think we're not gonna bring into Arceus kind of like that way, but like
I think it's going to be a mix of traditional and Legends Arceus now. I mean, from the trailer itself, it looked like random encounters are now gone from the game. It looks like it's just going to be overworld Pokemon going forward.
yeah, but I think you're gonna be battling them instead of having to like capture them like in Arceus.
Yeah, abilities are back now, so that hints towards having battling back properly. Nice.
Which I'm all for. Like again, that's the biggest thing I miss in terms of like Pokemon Arceus, and I think this brings back what I want in the Pokemon game, having my team.
Wait, what do you mean by that? Sorry.
Well, in Arceus, you kind of like you change your Pokemon to help your Pokedex, right? You're always constantly like,
oh, I see.
I'm done with you. I'm moving on to you now. Right. I'm done with you.
So basically, getting research tasks done in order to evolve these Pokemon / get like research points in order for you to get different bonuses, which kind of.
But now, yeah. Now I want like this is like I'm gonna create. I'm going against this gym, so I need to get these. I want this Pokemon. These Pokemons, level them up, and this will be my team going forward. Like standard Pokemon games, right? Like, and that's what I'm looking more forward to, having like this is my team that won to the end.
Talking about teams and Pokemon, they've confirmed there's no national dex in this game. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we're again at the end of this. It's usually what is it? I think it's the odd gens that add a lot of Pokemon, right? Or is it the even gens? I forget.
Sorry?
Like it's usually like every second gen. This is when they add a lot more Pokemon to the generation, right? Like, well, I forget if it's even ones or the odd ones that do that.
Traditionally, they always give you the option to have all the Pokemon in the game. Whether or not you can catch it or not is a different thing. But
yeah, no, but I mean
you
more
can transfer them in. Stuff like that. But
generation,
this game, you're not going to be transferring in any Pokemon that are not in this generation. They're
like Sword and Shield.
Yeah, basically.
Which makes sense. Again, after this generation, we're probably gonna have 1,000 Pokemon, because like I think it's an odd generation. They add more Pokemon than evens, and so we're probably getting over 100 Pokemon this time around. Means we're gonna have like 1,000, and the balancing of it. Even if they would take time off, and have longer time, I think it'd just be unwieldy having 1,000
I'll never buy the balancing argument if you're talking about competitive with Pokemon and stuff like that. They didn't. There was no sort of balancing when it came to Pokemon Sword and Shield. The Pokemon you'd expect to be in there weren't in there.
Yeah, man, it's more the moves, right? Yeah, they add new moves and stuff. Like it's then you have to go through all the old Pokemon. Do I give them these moves? Do we do this? Do we do that? Right? Like.
So here's an argument for you. Would you rather them had another year to work on this game to implement, have it even if it's like bringing it in from home or bank, to have the capacity to support the 1,000 Pokemon, or would you have just said, nah, going forward, just pick X Pokemon for X region and leave it as is?
Honestly, I like this way because it's easy to complete the Pokédex. Like it's funner to complete the Pokédex because I feel like it's way doable. While National Dex is like, yeah, I'm never gonna do it. Yes, I understand. Like you want to bring your Pokemon in from all your generations. Like, yeah, I wish Sword and Shield had the score 100%. Am I mad in wasn't there? No. Like, again, I'm also a game developer too. So I'm also seeing in the lens of how they, how it is on that side.
Stop being lazy, Darth. No, I'm joking.
It's just hard. Like, it's just a lot of work. And, again, it's balancing, and you can argue that. You can argue just like, they add new moves, they add new abilities, and do they really want to go back and be like, go to every Pokemon and be like, do we want to give this Pokemon a new move?
Well,
do we want to do this?
Even in mainline releases, I mean, I think the most significant time they've given Pokemon buffs is it's Gen 5 and Gen 6, but that didn't apply to all Pokemon. Some Pokemon still don't have like different, like Onyx, for example, is still weaker than a Sunkern, which is absurd attack wise. Like, so they haven't bothered to give that Pokemon update. So I don't think they would have needed to give Pokemon updates.
I'm not about like a buff in terms of stats. I'm talking about like, do they give it a new rock move? Do they give it a new like like, because again, there's also new moves and stuff added each
it seems
generation.
like they just chop and change moves anyway. I mean, we've seen that with Sword and Shield, where Pokemon just lose moves for no reason. Well, in the game moves for whatever reason. But yeah, I guess I see your point. I don't.
Too many Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
This is getting to a point where it's like
I'm down the Darth Stridius route, where I'm not gonna have every single Pokemon in this game, and I'm not particularly angry about it. I'm just disappointed because I do like having whatever Pokemon I want to use, even if it's post game, being able to bring in, like, let's say a Glaceon into the game, which is definitely going to be in this game because Eevee's in every game. But for example, someone's going to have like a Caterpie that they really love and they've taken throughout every single journey, and this is going to be like one that not going to be able to take the Caterpie to. I don't know. I'm not deaf to Games Freak because there's no national dex, but I'm just like, I would have rather if they took a bit more time and said, okay, you can bring it from home later on after you complete the game or whatever.
And I think it's also getting more scarier because I guess the theme is that the Nintendo shops closing down and stuff. And yes, Pokemon homes are buying things for going to go free, but now you got people who maybe not bought those games and now play this and want to go back to it, and you cannot. And you can have the point of where some Pokemon now literally may be stuck.
Yeah,
right.
For a few generations,
on generation that no one can really play anymore.
Yeah.
Right, and I think that's more what I'm worried about in terms of like, yes, just video game generation preservation, but also now we need Pokemon preservation. And I would love to see a game, maybe something like a Coliseum idea for Switch, where it's like connects to your phone and you can use the Pokemon from your Pokemon Home or something like something like that. Like I think that would be a good middle ground. Maybe it's not always battling, but you could be mini games. Or like just something like that where you can interact with the Pokemon you've had in home, right? And have them like something like that, make it free or whatever, right? Like even if it's like Coliseum, like I can battle you and we're on our phone and we like choose our moves, so I don't see what you're choosing.
Yeah.
But you can use any Pokemon that's available to you.
That might be one of the best ideas anyone's come up with as a middle ground for this kind of thing now. That is brilliant. Take a bow, my friend.
But I think everyone has Pokemon Home, everyone has a cell phone now, right?
Yeah.
Like how hard, like some interaction, right? Like, or even have like a safari zone where you can like let them wander, like the campsite in Sword and Shield.
Yeah, what was that? Like, Pokemon Ranch, wasn't it? On
yes,
one of the old consoles. Was it Wii? It must have been Wii.
Yeah, I think so. But like, or just do like the campsites and like Sword and Shield, right? Like where you can bring in 8 Pokemon and from your Pokemon Home and you can play with them or whatever. Like like just things like that. I think will give it a good middle ground. But yeah, like I think there's way more to talk about actually, but in this generation, that's not in this generation.
Yeah, no, we spent a whole lot of time on the national decks, and that's my fault. So let's talk about the trailer itself. What did you think? What did you think of the vistas? What did you think of the overall the overall look of the game?
I have an idea where it could be located, and also by the name of the Pokemon.
Yeah,
I'm thinking it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Basically, because the house is colorful. Like people think Mexico, but the windmills, the old like more European architecture, like then you don't have a picture here, but a yellow building with like the balconies. Oh, like the one you have in the middle, the one with the
one that the top middle.
No, one below it.
Oh, you mean like the plaza? Yeah,
the plaza with like the housing in the back there, a very like European styling, and the names of Pokemon like Fuecoco and Sprigatito.
Fuecoco, Sprigatito, and Quaxley.
Quaxley just makes no sense. We say all
it's just a way of getting Quack to work.
So, yeah. But it's like those two are very like Italian and Spanish inspired.
So Fuego in Spanish is fire, and then
exactly
Coco as in like a crocodile. Yeah. So basically, some people have looked into it, and actually in the trailer, someone on Twitter had pointed out that the map they've got in the background is actually representative of the Iberian Peninsula, which is basically Spain and Portugal. together. So yeah, it looks to like it's confirmed. Like at first I thought it was like Eastern Europe because of like the castle looking structure
and the windmills. I was like Netherlands, Germany.
Yeah, but it's actually based off. I think the Spanish call it La Sagrada Familia. So it's like this massive building. So that's in this trailer. The plaza as well, something reminiscent of somewhere in Seville apparently. And Pokemon Centro, who zoomed in on a map that you see in the protagonist's room, compared it to the Spanish map, and yeah, it looks like it is based on the Iberian Peninsula. So yeah, it looks very much like it is going to be set in Spain/Portugal, which is actually really nice. I like that.
I like it, and also we see something else that we have not seen in Pokemon generation games. It looks like there's going to be a times day-night cycle.
Well, we have had day-night cycles.
We have, yes, yeah, you're right.
But
it's been a while though.
It's never been like Legends Arceus where you see it like you can like in Legends Arceus you can look up at the moon and you can actually see the moon going down and going up. Yeah. Whereas in like Pokemon games that we play traditionally, it'll be set to the timer. So when it gets to X time, the world suddenly will look like dusk and whatnot. So yeah, it's a more enhanced version of that day and night cycle, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
And also I think it'd be fun, like it makes areas unique, right? Because you probably have different Pokemon coming out.
Yeah, like we've seen Legends Arceus.
Day and night. Yeah, exactly, right? Like,
and so it is in like the mainline games, but it's never like as because it's all random encounters. You never can tell whether or not there's a different Pokemon in the grass.
Yeah, and I think the Pokemon models look way better.
Oh, Magnemite alone. I mean,
the Viper
shiny is. Oh, the Viper with the little scales.
Yeah, like I think they for sure are working on that, and hopefully animations are being worked on a bit.
Because they said that so when it was coming to like Gen 6 X and Y, they were trying to future-proof the Pokemon models, and now it seems like they're moving away from the future-proof models and now are putting more effort into putting finer details into the Pokemon. So that's to be appreciated, I guess.
And what do you think about the battle scene in terms of? It does really remind me of like Arceus in terms of.
Oh, I'm a huge fan. Huge fan.
But I assume you won't be able to move your character. I think it's going to be
static.
This kind of look, but and I think having a game where it's like I hope where like Pikachu actually runs up to I kind of see what Pokemon he's fighting. I think it's a Larvitar, and actually attacking it compared to like
the anime does.
Thunderbolt, and it's like I hope there'll be more animations and more like interactions with like Pokemon that way, like, kind of like Arceus.
I think I think there's a lot from Arceus that they're going to be lifting and porting over to this, and obviously adding more to it. But I definitely think you'll be getting that. And I was quite impressed with the move animations in Legends Arceus. They looked very animated. It doesn't make sense when you say it out loud, but yeah, in traditional Pokemon games, they're kind of static, where your Pokemon does like an animation move, but it doesn't really move from its spot. It just stays there.
Exactly.
Like you can see like Lucario going towards that Pokemon and starts using its fists for close combat or something like that.
And I do hope we see with this open world idea of like more multiplayer like put into it, like not like how it was in Sword and Shield, where it's like you just saw people running around. Like it would be cool if I could bring you in.
Yeah, or, maybe like one or two
run
people.
Around together.
Yeah, I don't think they're ready to bring like mass, especially not on the Nintendo Switch. They can barely get the frames running as is, let alone.
And that's what I'm gonna be scared about the most. Also, I think it's gonna be that depending on how this game looks on the Switch, where you can have a lot of people like, well, why did Arceus look like this? Why is this game looking so much more beautiful when Arceus is?
I think it's because of more. Well, Legends Arceus is set in like the distant past, and you're not expecting everything to have like great infrastructure and stuff like that. As opposed to this, where you see like it's based on Spain, and there's so much color. Look at the plaza, for example. Look at the vistas. Look at the housing. It's all modern, so you expect it to be a bit more vivid in a rough sort of dangerous world of Arceus. I think that's an art style decision. Actually, I don't think they've changed much. Otherwise, it's just art style.
So it might be how the Pokemon behave in the game, because like AI does take a lot of bandwidth, and if like generally in Pokemon games, it's just like the Pokemon just move around. In Arceus, there was much more interaction, like how the Pokemon reacted in the world. Right, it didn't feel that static. Let's say, as I say in Sword and Shield, Right, Sword and Shield.
I was so shocked to see a Pokemon sleeping when I was playing Legends Arceus. I was like, wait, what? Pokemon can sleep?
Exactly, right? Like in
Pokemon
while
sleep.
in like Sword and Shield, which is like, oh, I see a Greedent, and the Greedent's is like da 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 back and forth, right?
Or
like
chasing you and you're like trying to run through damn life. Like, leave me alone,
Yeah.
Green.
So like I think that's another reason why I probably had a look bit different. But like, yeah, I think this game looks gorgeous, and I'm down for battling like way more. Like yes, sort of. Arceus had battling if you wanted to do it. I
Very
would
rare.
fight
Very
those
rare.
battles
Yeah.
90% of the time if I could, but half time Pokemon just run away. So like, fine, I'll just freaking throw a ball at you, and it felt like Safari Zone. Do
So
I
you
hope
think it's going to be more battle to capture Pokemon rather than just yeet Pokeballs at them?
Oh, I don't think there's going to be I think there's going to have back to normal standard Pokemon game in terms of
Okay, yeah,
battling and
I'm
stuff.
down
Like,
for that. I'm down for that.
I would hope, and I think will be good middle ground. And I think which is what I wanted to discuss in the future process. I hope this game will have like maybe like a Safari Zone, bring like from Gen 1 idea of Safari Zone where that very much felt like early Arceus stylings, where it was like about putting food down and throwing balls at it, where there was no combat. Right, and if you can make one exploration to like Italy, like maybe like the deal like they had Pokemon that way later on. That could be an interesting way
going
of
to a
adding
different
both
region whilst you're in this region. So like, Generation 2 going to Kanto, for example, like you want another like region to be connected to this one, then you can travel it.
Yeah, like I think this is gonna be they're gonna mix more of Arceus stuff, and I hope they add the Arceus quality of life ideas, like how they did the move sets and stuff, and evolution and stuff. Like I hope that stays. Like I hope like I can add TMs to a Pokemon and be like, okay, I want to change it to this one instead of having to go somewhere and do it. And especially for me loving the battling side of Pokemon, like now I don't need to have like 5 freaking different Gliscors for different movesets. I can just have one Gliscor and move out to the moves I want.
Yes, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think
the IV and EV system's going to be like.
That's true in this one, yeah.
I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I don't like the Legends Arceus system of it. Even though it's a lot more convenient and easy, it doesn't necessarily make for a balanced or like an interesting way of Pokemon battling. Just because EVs and IVs make a huge difference to a Pokemon. Like Gliscor, for example, you can have an offensive Gliscor or you can have a defensive one, and like part of the sort of like fun of a Pokemon battle is trying to figure out what kind of Gliscor is your opponent running. Is he running the more defensive type or is he running the more offensive type? I think keeping Pokemon as a monotone sort of, they've got max stats and everything doesn't make for a good meta game, personally.
Oh, 100%. I think that's the best thing for me, like why Arceus did not draw me in is like I love watching draft battles. I love playing Showdown. And I have like probably 5 boxes of ready to go competitive Pokemon, in Pokemon Home. Right? Like, yeah, and that's the thing for me. Is like, yeah, why do I wish there's an deck? Sure, because I have all these Pokemon I can use, right? But I'm not bitter. Like, I love combat. Like, I have 700 hours in like Gen 7 and Gen 6 because of this. Because of that, like, and they made it like 100 times easier compared to when I started doing this. Like Gen 4 to get a freaking lucky egg, I had spent all night getting it from a freaking Chansey. There was a 5% chance of seeing a Chansey and 5% chance of having a lucky egg. And then Gen 5 is give you one. Was I bitter? Oh god, yes, I was freaking bitter. Like, so they make it so much easier. So like
that with mints now, like you don't even have to worry about your Pokemon's nature anymore. You can just get minted. Unless you're like one of those IVs too, right? Like you just have to have like an original nature on it.
Or even IVs too, right? It was so much easier now. Like, I could get a shiny and be like, oh, I can just change IV to what I want. So for hidden, they took hidden moves away, I think. Correct.
So they still exist as moves, but not as HMs anymore. Yeah.
No, but hidden, not HMs. Or was it hidden? Sorry, hidden attack.
Oh, hidden power.
Hidden power. Yeah, sorry, that's it. Yeah, I think that's gone. If I'm correct.
It's still there for Unown, but yeah, for everyone else, you're not really going to be able to use it.
Yeah, because that was all IV based, right?
Yeah.
So like, there you need something unique.
Yeah, sometimes you'd have to have one less speed just for like hidden power ice or something like that.
Oh yeah, like everyone wanting to run Jolteon with grass, right? Like you had to have a very unique IV. Again, we're going down a very deep rabbit hole of fighting combat. I'd love to come on again to do a more battle specific one. But like, yeah, I think this is more what I want, and I think the starters we've seen are adorable, and I'm still not sure which one I want to choose.
I'll bring up that in a second, but I've just noticed something in the screenshots. What's Hisuian Zoroark doing here? Because the whole idea of Hisuian Pokemon is that they're all extinct. So how is this one like still
That's
alive?
true, eh?
Yeah, I didn't.
For a second, I thought that was Arceus, and you just put it here accidentally.
Arceus had a fit, and then Palkia and Dialga did some shenanigans, and all of a sudden, it's still alive.
Maybe this is a hint to connecting, like.
What if this protagonist was the one that ended up falling into the deep hole of?
Yeah, or it could be maybe the fact of like if like the Zoroark is in this one, you can bring in any Zoroark.
Maybe you might be right on that one. Actually, yeah. It just seems strange that they would use the new one in this promotional material.
Like from the Pokemon we've seen in the trailer, like I have a list here and I was looking through it. Like they are gonna have like Starly's Staravia, just that bird line. Which is interesting because like they usually have a regional bird.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see that they were
pretty much again the regional bird now.
Also, they were not showing any new Pokemon, which makes sense, right? So it was all heavy on like what do you see? But like, we saw the Dratini statue. Yeah. There's that Dratini statue, so you assume we'll get Dragonite. We saw Ryulu, which is in Poby and Lucario, which is in your pictures. We saw T-Tar. Of course, you can see the Pikachu line.
My friend Takahashi was sending me messages, and he was speculating that we might actually see a regional form for Tyranitar. That'd be exciting. I'd like to see a regional Tyranitar.
Yeah, what I'm interested in is that I'm surprised they have Wingull and Pelipper in this one, just for the fact of the starter. If when you talk about it, if you can assume what its typing will be. It's interesting that they're gonna have another.
You always need a Drizzle Pokemon in a meta game, though. So
yes, I agree. But the thing is, that could be the starter. And if you have some Viper,
there's never like a bad Pokemon just because the starter's got a certain typing. I don't think they're scared to add more. And like you said, there's nearly 1,000 Pokemon now, so there's gonna always be like a clash of like starters with normal Pokemon.
And if we see some Viper, we're going to assume we'll see Zangoose, because that's usually how it works.
Yeah.
So, and we have normal Meowth and Persian, so they're bringing them back. So yeah, I think what they showed is interesting, like Magnetons. I hope we get the score. Like I hope what he sees like adding Pokemon that were in like the different ones that were not in Sword and Shield. So like you can have Sword and Shield with those, and then you have these ones that are from other ones. They're not like a lot of like crossover.
I think Perugly still hasn't been in the game for quite a while. Well, Legends Arceus, I guess, but it wasn't in Sword and Shield, for example.
Like Blissey was in Sword and Shield, right?
Yeah. It was via the DLC.
Right. So yeah. Okay. Right. And then like Magnezone wasn't. So yeah, I think we'll see some Pokemon here that were not in. So I hope that's the case. Like I hope they go heavy on more like. Bringing in like also with Gen 4, like I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of Gen 4 Pokemon in this one for the fact of Brilliant Diamond and Pearl.
I'll that. I'll probably not even say Brilliant Diamond Pearl. I'd say probably from Legends Arceus because of the models that they've
exactly
got
both of them, right? But also the fact that people have those games on the Switch. That like, hey, now you can bring these into the new generation, right? Like,
I also think they'll make new models just to compensate for it. And just
the fact that people have those Pokemon, right? Like, I mean, that's to bring them over, right? Like, and use them in the future. Where it's like, I mean, just because they're all on the Switch, right? Like, I think we'll for sure see more than 400 Pokemon. I think this one will have like I think we'll see probably maybe 600, 700 is what I would maybe guess, because I could see them adding everything from Sword and Shield and more. Right? Like they already have Sword and Shield. Why not bring those over and add in a nice whatever the new ones are and a good from the back.
Where do I go from here? Here's a question. Before I move on to the starters and the new characters. In terms of the trailer, there's a lot of beautiful shots. Like you've got the windmills with the Hoppips, rising up, and got the nice big view from the outside of the town. What was your favorite view in this trailer? Because for me personally, it was when the shot, you see the Meowth, and above the Meowth there's a moon, and it was amongst the trees and stuff like that. I really like that one shot from this trailer. What's your favorite shot from this trailer?
That's an interesting question. I just like I guess for me it was just seeing the variety of different environments. Honestly, like like seeing the desert swept area and having all that sand move around, it was a really nice shot.
With the
The more peach,
stone joiner from
yeah,
Sword and Shield, like you said.
it just feels like it's not going to be like Sword and Shield, where it's like, oh yeah, we have this like deserty area, but it's like this one small like patch.
You take a
You know what I
step in
mean?
and it's like fucking ice everywhere.
Yeah, I'm back in grass.
Yeah.
Like I think this is where it's exciting more. It feels like it's gonna really more feel like a real world over like, oh, we need this ghosty area. So like let's put this little like scary house in the corner of the wild area for the ghosts, right? Like, oh, we need like the dragon area, so we'll put them on top of this like little air outcropping. Right? Like it didn't feel like its own thing, it felt like patchwork, right? I think this is to have it more like
where I think the wild area was kind of like a concept for what was going to be Legends Arceus and eventually this game.
yeah, exactly. And I think like also another reason why I think is like Mediterranean is that you have all that like sea to work with.
There was
right,
like
for the water
map, there
area.
was a huge like pond area. It looked like towards the north, so you could be right, yeah.
So yeah, I think this is like I think all those shots had something to look at. Like I love that tropical one, and you have the top here, the night sky one. Like I think it's all very like unique, and I think I'm excited for what we'll see next. Like I'm assuming we'll get another Pokemon Presents in the summer, which
I'm quite confident you get one in about 2 or 3 months with Legends Arceus and with Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. They had a habit of releasing information drip feed every month. So
right,
yeah, what my hope is they don't give away too much. They were quite good with Legends Arceus and not giving away too much, and I hope with Sword and Shield as well, they were good at not giving away too much. So I hope that's
even the Pokemon, right? They didn't give up too many of the
That was Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon they gave basically 95% of the Pokemon that were going to be in the game.
And Sword and Shield they did not.
No,
right?
they didn't. No. I still remember like at the very beginning of the game, when you build up the game, for example, it's like welcome, it's Chairman Rose, and he says, "Welcome to the world of Pokemon," and he brings out a Copperaja, and you straight away I was like, "Wait, what? What's this Pokemon?" Like straight from the beginning, you were surprised at the Pokemon you'd see.
Did you see the update to Raichu's Pokedex?
Oh yes, yeah.
Talk about Copperaja,
yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. So they were speculating that Professor Lavington is actually from India. So at some point we should have an Indian region as well, because of Copperaja's origins being from India. So.
Well, yeah, because Raichu's Pokedex could take down an Indian elephant, and then they changed it to Copperaja in Arceus.
It's incredible.
So.
It's incredible.
So yeah, I agree with you. I think that'd be cooler too, because like, right now, like what they've done, Japan, just the the US, and pretty much Europe.
We got UK and represent.
Well, Europe, yes, and then they have not really done.
Generation Sword and Shield was basically the UK. It wasn't the whole of Europe. It was just UK.
No, I meant Europe because
Oh, you mean location-wise? So we have
like they've done
America, for example,
because Gen 5 was France, right?
No, Gen 6 was France. Gen 5 was like New York, USA.
Exactly, right, yeah. So other locations have been either Japan, in Europe, or in the States.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because Alola and Gen 5 are new, like Hawaii and New York. So like it'd be nice to see something that's not in the wheelhouse they've been doing lately.
Mm. But remember, Europe's a huge place. It's very different. Like there's so many different cultures in Europe. So.
Oh, for sure. But like, why not why not India? Why not
Africa? Maybe. Yeah. Like Egypt or something.
Exactly. Right. So especially when you have like so many Pokemon that are very like Egyptian. That like.
I can imagine Phalanx being Greek.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So like I'm hoping for them in the future, but that's in the future.
Talking of Pokemon, we've got 3 new starters revealed. So again, just to go for it, we've got Sprigatito, sorry, which is the grass type, the grass cat Pokemon. We've got Fuecoco, which is the I thought it was a hippo, but it's actually a crocodile, the croc Pokemon. And then you got Quaxley, who's the duckling Pokemon. So yeah, what do you think? We've got 3 new starters.
I'm curious, like in Gen 7, in Gen 8, all the starters didn't get a secondary typing. They're all like monotyped. I hope here we will get secondary typing to these.
Mm-hmm.
I really like them. I think it's hard for me to choose like which one I like the best. Like for me is right now it's Coco is the one I like the most. And I think a lot of people are on that. And I think a lot of people are going to be Sprigatito at the moment. But again, I'm not going to say yes or no until I see the final form because Oshawa kind of ruined that for me.
Well, here's the interesting thing. So, Sword and Shield, we're talking about not many reveals. I didn't see the final starters either. I don't think they revealed them. So, I chose Grookey because Grookey was cute. So I chose Grookey, and then like when I got to the final battle of the game, and I saw that person, it's Leon. Come on, we know this by now. He's the unbeatable champion, Leon. He brought out
Rillaboom?
No, he brought a Cinderace. I was like, oh man, I should have picked Scorbunny because like he was so cool. But yeah, I kind of like not knowing who the final evolutions are and like having to regret it afterwards. I think
for sure
I'm gonna go for Duckcat because Duckcat is pretty cool. But I like them all, to be honest with you. Surprisingly,
yeah, I like them all interestingly, and I think like I'm curious as to how they're going to evolve because I think like when I saw Fuecoco, I thought like, oh, that's gonna be like a dinosaur, like
with the short arms.
And it's like, yeah, exactly. Right now, it's like, hey, we already have like an alligator. We have the crocodile line.
Mm-hmm.
So like, okay, we're having this one. It's interesting. Like, it looks completely different, right? Like I just like how they've been doing the starter stuff, which is like very adorable eyes. Like Fuecoco, I would really mind like kind of how Grookey looked.
Right? I won't forgive them if they go the Incineroar route and they make Sprigatito like stand up like a human and stuff like that. No, give me like a jungle cat as a final evolution, please.
Exactly, like make it more fierce.
Yeah. I don't want to see another like wrestling standing up cat, please.
Or like Quaxly is gonna get like a freaking scarf and that's it.
Hey, Greninja's cool, okay?
No, but talking about that, like I think we're gonna see Quaxly as water flying. Yeah. Like just because it's a bird.
Yeah, it seems like a safe bet.
I'm hoping Fuecoco to be Fire Rock. Because then you have a secondary typing being able to beat out the secondary typing of Quaxly.
Mm-hmm.
Right? While their first typing Quaxly has the advantage.
Mm-hmm.
The one I'm just gonna Sprigatito, like I'm thinking maybe like Fairy or Psychic. Like making like a fast, like you think that it's gonna be like a fast Mon.
See, that's it's because of the eyes, you kind of assume that it might be like a Psychic or Fairy. But then I remember like Serena, for example, is also like a grass type with those kind of eyes, but it's just a pure grass type. I mean, I wonder if they're just going to be like, nah, can't think of it.
I hope they add a secondary typing to these, just because it's like it'd be so weird, especially like in Fire in Sword and Shield, like the starters really did not change much in terms of like their look, right? Like it was okay, like in terms of like Rillaboom really stayed grass, like and Scorbunny stayed really fire, like. But when you have a bird where it's like, okay, you're for sure gonna fly, you're a bird, and if you just keep him with water, like.
No, I do like secondary typings on Pokemon. It makes things a lot more interesting. So yeah, I agree with you. I could. Wild, I know, but I could actually. Could you imagine? Like, it's a forbidden sin, but could you imagine it having a dragon type, the fire one? How good that would be.
That is a cool thing too. Like, I think maybe if the grass type is a grass fairy, it'd be the same idea if it was dragon fire because it's the same. Because fire dragon because you would have again the same thing with the advantages, right? Fire has advantage over grass, but a fairy will have advantage over dragon.
Yeah, we saw with Legends Arceus that the secondary typings of the starters all, had a nice little like cycle with each other. I can't see
what they usually kind of do, right? In terms of because in Greninja was Gen
Gen 6.
And who were the other ones in that again?
Sorry?
Who are the other starters in that gen? I haven't seen. Right, yeah, because you had Fire
Dragon, Delphox, and Greninja.
So all the secondary had advantages, right? Because it was fighting Psychic and Dark, right? So and they work exactly where water with advantage over grass, dark with advantage over fighting.
I'm just struggling with if it's the grass type that's throwing me off. It needs to have something weird, a weird type. to make the chain make sense.
And I do hope we have some interesting hidden moves with these.
Oh yes, please. I mean, I loved Cinderace's one that copied kind of Greninja's ability of being able to change types depending on the move you use. I love that ability.
Yeah, like I think how it's gonna be like we're gonna have like I think the grass type is gonna be more the high attack. We're gonna have the Croc be the more defend, the fire be more of a defensive one, and the water one be more maybe mid ground.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious how their evolve form is gonna look like. Like I'm just really curious because right now Quaxley does look like a duck, and of course by the name, but it also kind of looks like a seagull.
Oh bloody hell! Yeah, no, you're not too far off.
And I really want to
they call it a duck Pokemon though. They call it the duckling Pokemon though. So
I know,
yeah.
I know exactly. We already have a duckling Pokemon though.
Yeah. In the
Swana line. They already called duckling.
Ducklet, yeah. Ducklet and Swana.
Yeah. So it just feels like I just look at this. It feels like it's a Disney character. It looks like some weird Disney like character about going on an adventure.
So you're referring to Donald Duck, are you? from Kingdom Hearts.
No, not in the freaking like gimp
I made
suit.
a very nice meme, so join the Discord if you want to see the meme.
No, it reminds me more like of this like a Pokemon going on a voyage. It's like I'm learning to fly and it's like I'm off now. I'll see you later.
I totally see. A Disney story all over it.
And have like a little pouch for the mail.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It looks cool. It's the one that looks so much more like I don't know, a character. Like it just have the eyes and the hair. Like it is. I don't know.
Do you think it's gonna be the Rowlet of this generation, where it's just gonna get a lot of screen time, and you're gonna see it do all these quirky things, and it's gonna be memed to all hell?
Probably. Well, I mean, I think that's also the fire type. When I saw the fire type, it looked like a freaking apple.
Someone says a habanero.
Or habanero, right? Yeah, exactly. Like, actually, that's a good pull. It looks like a habanero, which is how the tail is. It looks like a pepper, right?
I love these Pokemon, to be honest with you. And normally it takes me a while. It definitely took me a while with the Alola starters. Like,
oh yeah, exactly. Me too. I think Alola for me was the hardest ones for me to like. Or the Alola ones and the which one had Oshawott?
Gen 5.
I think Gen 5 for me was like my least favorite starters. Yeah, Gen 5 100% was my least favorite starters. Like, I didn't like any of the initial forms either, really. I like Snivy, but I didn't like Superior, right? Same with Oshawott. I like Oshawott, but I didn't like Samurott.
I liked Oshawott. I didn't like Oshawott at first because it looked a bit like a clown, and then when I saw the anime of Oshawott, I was like, yeah, this is my guy. This is my guy.
Well, the Clown War was the one that turned into the Seal Clown. Which one was a... Was it Gen 7? No, I'm so bad with starters.
It was Alola with Poplio. And
yes, that one, yes.
Yeah.
That's your clown. Because, like, Brion really looked like one.
Yeah, no, it did. But that thing can be dangerous. We used it on that online tournament. It can
100%.
Yeah, it can trap you and just make you...
Primarinas is just, like, a hidden ability was great. But, yeah, so, like, I think I love these starters. I think they all have a very unique look, and I think that's what I've been liking about, like, the last two gens of starters where, like, they all have their very own style. Where they don't really feel like I felt like Gen 6 where like Chespin, Fennekin, and Froakie had a very like similar look. Like they just said, okay, this is like a typing we wanted to make a fire and whatever look kind of like this.
I'm quite happy at the fact that these don't look like humanoid Pokemon, and they're not gonna. I don't think their final forms are going to be turning into humanoids. I think it's
especially like and I think that's the issue more of how they wanted to do Gen Sword and Shield and how they wanted to represent like the soccer far side of England, the
you mean football,
the grunge rock side of England, and then the James Bond side, right? Because literally all the final forms.
I don't have a problem with it, but I mean I do like things to be freshened up once in a while, and it looks like we're getting that with these starters. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, hopefully this is like Coco's not gonna go from a jalapeno pepper to like a chili sauce or something.
Just a walking advertisement in the region.
Tacos?
Yeah, oh man. So that I think that's it for the starters, and we've got the first images of the two protagonists. Now we don't have the names obviously for them. We're gonna have to probably wait till the manga.
I like how they have a different look in each generation for each type. Like
Yeah, so let's start speculating. So Pokemon Scarlet, you're gonna have the more like Spanish football team colors of like blue, kind of orangey red, and white with yellow on the sleeves, and then you've got Pokemon Violet, which is going to be like the more purpley sort of look to it.
I think it's a play on Dawn and Dusk. If you look at the logo itself,
yeah,
Violet has stars in it.
Mm.
And it's a gradient too, right? It looks like it's going from light to dark.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Scarlet. Like Scarlet has like that, that dawn, like where sun's rising and have like that red. It's yellow and then have that red in it, like the red, right?
I see. You think it's just the motif of them.
I think it's gonna have to play with like the times.
So like sun and moon, then basically.
Kind of, yeah. Like, but maybe one is a different story. Like I hope we will see different gym leaders like we did in Gen and Sword and Shield.
So here's where I'm taking this. So in the trailer we see like a bowl of fruit. In the live action part of the trailer we see like a bowl of fruit, and then prominently you can see oranges, which is quite famous for Spain, and you've got grapes as well, which I think are famous in Spain, maybe because of the wine, or maybe in Portugal maybe grapes mean something. But also right at the end of the trailer as well, you have the security guard walking towards this door, and then each side of the door there's like an orange on one side, and then there's like a grape sort of badger on the other side. Are these like protagonists? And I can't see their like on their shoulders. It looks like there's a little badge on them. Are these trainers at some sort of school, like at opposing schools? So you've got the grape school and the orange school, and like maybe that's their journey instead of like. Maybe it's like gyms. Maybe they're fighting against the other school or something like that. I don't know.
And also looking at the artwork too, like this is the first real generation where they really look like kids.
Yes. Yeah.
Like these, like 100% look like they are like.
They look like they're going to school. They
12-year-old
school. Yeah.
13-year-olds. Or like in the other generations, they kind of like adulted them up.
Yeah,
right?
And
like,
some you can probably argue much more, kids, but they don't look like they're doing kiddie stuff. Definitely.
Exactly. Where here is like the little redness around the cheeks, like a more innocent look, more the like ties, very much like a school outfit.
Backpacks, yeah.
Yeah, like
the sailor hat on the kid, yeah.
Just the look of it, it looks like it's very much. And there's a picture. I don't think you have. There's that one picture where you see in Serbia. I see it. Where it's a girl in front of like a blue building, and it really does look like that could be like a school, like right next to the water.
I need to go see this for myself, to be honest with you. But yeah, what do you think this sort of like? What are they going for? Like, is there anything you speculate with these grapes and oranges? Do you think it's maybe like something that's there to throw you off, or do you think it's going to have a prominent significance in the game?
I think. Like, it's hard because Sword and Shield have representative because of the legendary, right? I forget why Sun and Moon. That one skipped my record. I think right now it's legendaries also. This one here, like, it's the first time they go back to a color in a while since Black and White, right? If I'm correct, because it was always like Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, and those just. I mean, again, blue and black and white also legendary the color, but I think this has something to do more with the game and how the gameplay, or something the gameplay will be. Why it's called that over, legendary or something. Like I don't know. By Violet having the stars in it and Scarlet looking like Daybreak.
Just brought up the image for the girl in front of the building.
So like there, right? Like that building in the back really does looks like it could be like a school. Or something like that. Yeah, I'm curious what it's called. It's gonna be called like Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah, and just why they're wearing the attire that they're wearing. It doesn't look like they're adventuring.
Not yet, at least.
You wouldn't take a tie to an adventure, would you? Would you? Question mark. Who knows?
It's gonna be like what the Magic School bus like. Hey kids, today we're going to the desert area. Let's go catch some Pokemon.
Next thing you know, Arceus kidnaps you, and then all of a sudden you're like back in the past. It all comes together. Yeah.
But yeah, like, I think it's gonna be very interesting. Like I'm excited to hear more, and I hope they kind of do like exactly like little monthly dribbles of information. Like,
Yeah.
don't give us like tease us with maybe some new Pokemon, but don't do like here's the whole new line of the the pumpkin Pokemon or whatever. Like, just give us a little tease of something.
Is there a certain Pokemon that you want to have a sort of
regional form?
Yeah, a regional form.
That's a good question. Like, I'm thinking, like, again, it's like for this area.
Sorry,
I think
I
again,
didn't mean to spring that on you. It's just something I thought of straight away.
Again, I like Gliscor. It'd be cool to see something different with that. That his Pokemon, because again, he has been used, like, has not been around for a while, and it'd be nice to come back, like bring back Pokemon that have not been touched for a few generations, right?
Yeah,
and or show some love to Pokemon like people liked in like earlier gens, like maybe like Aromatisse comes back. I think the colors would work in this generation and give it a twist.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Or some starters, bring back some starters from another generation and give them a twist too, right?
I'd like to see like a regional Tangela.
Yeah,
just to represent like the vineyards of Spain and stuff like that. Something along those lines. I think Tangela would be a good Pokemon. Larvesta would be
exactly, because Tangrowth has not been. We've seen Tangrowth in last gen, but really since Gen 4 we have not seen it.
Yeah.
Or like maybe like Cherim and Cherubi, like maybe make it a great Pokemon instead.
Oh yes, please.
Right, like I think we'll see some regional, but I'm not sure how. I'm curious how much they're going to go into the regional Pokemon in this generation.
I think we can guarantee maybe 3 or 4 every generation going forward. I think that seems like a sensible amount.
Yeah, and do you think we're gonna?
It kind of saves them in terms of like not necessarily designing, but I think in terms of like how the Pokédex is, like you said, is going up to 1,000 now. With regional
probably
forms,
around there.
Yeah, with regional forms, they still count as like number 25 this Pokemon or whatever.
Yeah.
They don't count as like a, unless we've got an evolution as like Pokemon 1009 or whatever.
Do you think they're going to give an evolution to a Pokemon that we have not had evolution? Like, what he did was like Gliscor, for example, where they added Gliscor after having its pre-evolved form.
I think maybe like a splinter evolution. So not how you've got like Roselia and that goes to Roserade. Maybe like it would be like Roselia and it goes up to a different like path. Kind of like how Gloom does when it is either Vileplume or Blossom.
Right. Yeah.
Perhaps. Or
adding like they added like an evolution to Stansler and Arceus, right? Like,
Dunsparce, please, finally, give me a Dunsparce evolution.
I'm sure. Hopefully, we're going to see Shuckle in this one, being that has reference of making fermenting grapes.
Mega Shuckle, please.
Well, because in the Pokédex, right, the idea is that it ferments grapes inside and makes an alcohol.
Oh yeah, it does, doesn't it? Because of the berries, you put berries and it makes
exactly.
Juice.
And then ferments. So
yeah.
Make it like a wine vat. But yeah, I think...
You know how like Persimmon and it's not orangutan, I forgot its name.
Orangutan,
Orang something, whatever it's called. Maybe you've got like a third version, which is just a bartender. Like Oranguru, yeah. Maybe you've got like a third version now. That's a bartender.
Yeah, like I hope he sees like I would like to see a lot like more unique, like different like Sword and Shield had a few new Pokemon, but it wasn't like a crazy amount.
Yeah.
And I think they do like
became my favorites, like Phalanx and Poltergeist were my new 2 favorites.
Yeah, and I really liked the GP line. But usually every odd generation is when they add the more Pokemon. Like it's usually like even gens add more uniqueness in terms of how the gameplay works, but in the odd gens usually add a lot more Pokemon. These have been going before. And I'm wondering if that's going to continue that way, or will it just be like, because they're adding so much more open world stuff, will they keep the Pokedex amount smaller?
Are you I was talking about earlier, it's coming later this year, which kind of blows my mind, because I always was under pressure. They've got one development team and maybe like a smaller team that does like other stuff, like the Sword and Shield DLC team they had. Like I can't believe it. Like I don't know why they just don't take a year and release this later on. But do you think there's going to be many new Pokemon, considering we've just had Legends Arceus come out?
I mean, Arceus pretty much played off of a generation, right? So they only added
I
twist.
think they worked on it for like 3 or 4 years. Legends Arceus.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, again, by the time this game comes out, I'd assume it'll be on a 4-year development cycle because, when like for example, when Sword and Shield gets near the end point, when everything design wise is done, the designers will move on to the next game, right? So like design pre-prod started on this probably like 2018,
yeah,
right? And so you think about like by 2019, you'd probably have developers actually coding and creating the assets for this game.
Yeah.
Right. So you're looking at this game probably been in by the end of it will probably be around 4 years. I would say that's been in development because again, making the DLC for Sword and Shield, that probably was a small team, right? Like it would not have been a full team making that.
No, I mean I think they already had the assets to play with, didn't they? And they improved upon like the wild area and how that sort of worked. But
yeah, you would have the assets to play on it. You would just have to change it.
There, they switched directors also. So yeah, no, you're probably right about the smaller team.
Yeah, exactly. They probably had their secondary director move on to do Sword and Shield while their main one moved on to do this one. So like this has for sure been in development by the end by 4 years, I would say, or if even not more.
Sorry, go for it.
And like I think exactly with Sword and with Arceus, I'm assuming the next one we'll see will be when we get the next Switch update. Like it did look good, the game, but there were for sure some technical issues with Sword and with it.
Yeah.
And I think that they need to either find a way to optimize it better or have a better system. And we shall see what happens.
I better start. I can't believe it's already been like an hour and a half. It's crazy. I was just looking through like a random list of Pokemon, and I think 2 Pokemon that actually could. One that could get like a evolution is probably Sunkern. Like the seed Pokemon, it can probably, instead of becoming a Sunflora, it could be, I don't know, something grape or orange related. I don't know. And another one that just makes sense, Maractus to get regional form, perhaps. It's just cactus. Maybe you can grow stuff. I don't know. I'm going down the orange and grape route too much. Maybe they throw.
Yes, I think you're going down the wrong line of questioning. I think we'll see more as things get announced.
Yeah,
and seeing them. Like I hope like let people speculate. Give time for people to like doing what you're doing right now. Of it's orange and purple and going from grapes and alcohol and wine.
Maybe it's just this orange school and purple school,
and you mix them together and you get sangria.
Yeah.
Like I think we'll see more as things go. And I hope
that's the third game, sangria.
So I think we're going to see more coming down, and I think I would like to see more uniqueness between the games.
Yeah.
Like different gym battles. I don't
think you can get too much. I think maybe like what Sword and Shield did. Maybe that like you said, gym battles, but I don't think there's gonna be too much as usual. I think it's just gonna be
for sure. But I think gym battle will be one that'd be fun to have, and I'm hoping we see much more multiplayer twist to it.
As in what?
Maybe something with co-op if they want, or just having like a better, like I think a very add more like battle towers,
like a mini game section where you can like or like Dynamax battles that we just had from Sword and Shield. Like probably the best content I've kind of.
I'm wondering that back 100%. Yes.
In the DLC, the Dynamax area where you go in and you fight like big Pokemon consecutively until you get into a boss Pokemon. Like that kind of co-op would be.
Talking about Dynamax, do you think this generation is going to have unique?
Well, it's funny that you bring me to this path, because have a little gander at this. The Japanese logo. So Japanese logos traditionally have the gimmick somewhere in the title, and if you let me get rid of the fire Pokemon, get away.
Little star there in the middle.
Yeah, he's gone. There's a little star there in the middle. So like Gen 6, the Pokemon Japanese titles had the Mega Evolution sign, which looked like DNA. Gen 7, you had the Z Crystal in there. Gen 8, they were a bit more sneaky about it, and they had the Pokemon League logo, which probably represents Dynamax to them, but we also have like the X for the Dynamax. But now we've got this crystal looking thing in the middle. So do you think there's gonna be some sort of gimmick in Gen 9? What kind of gimmick are they gonna put in the game? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming it will be a gimmick, but I mean, like, when they explored Mega Forms, they explored now Dynamax. Like, I'm curious of like, what else can they really explore? Like, and other than like changing the Pokemon typing and or something weird like that.
Well, here's where I was at, and what I was thinking is, you know how in Legends Arceus we've got the agile form and strong
Right.
form. I was thinking because when you think about Spain, they're typically well known for their music and the dances that have come up there, like flamenco. Like in the protagonist's house, like when you're going up the stairs, there's like a little photo of like a dancer. Perhaps they're gonna have like a sort of rhythm style, and so like the Pokemon will either attack faster like Legends Arceus, or like slower but stronger as well. So maybe like it's basically agile and strong form, but in a different sort of name, in a different sort of way, with rhythm form or rhythm dance, or like maybe like Pokemon Dance Off now. Who knows? Yeah,
It's gonna bring back a lead beat agent. You have to do a little mini game.
Yeah. That would be bloody fantastic. That would be game of the year.
Oh, you gotta be on Ring.
Yeah. Pika. Yeah, I can definitely see it.
And as I laughed at and I think the 2 Pokemon you put on your Twitter account and your post.
Oh, Oricorio.
I think
Sensu form and
for
like
sure be in this one.
Bale form, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll see that one. I mean, the red one definitely looks like it's got the Latin America sort of Spanish sort of like dance moves.
Exactly.
Mm.
But yeah, I think we'll see. I'm curious what the new mechanic is. I'm kind of getting a bit, I don't know, like for me, mechanic is getting from more the competitive side. Like I found the Dynamax
was straight up broken. It was fun playing it in single
side.
player, but like playing Dynamax in multiplayer is extremely stressful, and like in doubles is a little bit more balanced. Because of what you can do with how you can set up like your tactics for your partner, and like how stat buffs are a lot more important in doubles when it comes to defense and special defense and stuff like that. But in singles, if you Dynamax before your opponent does, and you time that perfectly, and you start like making your Pokemon really fast with max airstream and stuff like that, you can get swept in no time. It was not balanced for a single player meta game.
Yeah, exactly. Where I think like Mega Forms was way better balanced.
You can build around Mega Forms, and you can build teams to counter them. But with Dynamax, it's just too unpredictable to be able to do that, especially with the timing. And like you had to give up something with Mega. You couldn't wear a choice scarf and have a Mega, for example. So you had to give something up. There was like that kind of balance there. Z crystals were the same, where you had to give up an item in order to put a Z crystal in your Pokemon. But with Dynamax, there's no drawbacks to It just does more damage, helps you to survive a hit, and also gives you different effects like weather or
What did Z crystals do again? It would just boost a move, right?
So they could either boost a move, or they could like, for example, I think Clangorous Soul Blaze on a Como would boost his stats all round as well. So it was like a one-time use only per battle, and you could use it with a Mega on your team as well in Gen 7. So you could have a Mega Pokemon and a Z Pokemon.
Right. Yeah, like that's the thing for me. Is like I'm skeptical about all these like changes, because exactly for me, it's like the part I like about Pokemon could kind of get a bit screwy.
Yeah.
With these.
I don't see what the need is for. They could just make this game with Pokemon having abilities, and like, battles will still be fun without having to have a gimmick. But we'll see. We might be looking too much into the star, but Pokemon have traditionally had forms for this, and titles have always featured a gimmick in there. So let's see where they go with it.
Well, since Gen 5, right? Gen 6, right? So so it's been quite a few
Gen 5. I guess Gen 5's gimmick, quote unquote, was that you had hidden abilities now from Pokemon,
right?
So but it wasn't like intrinsically, it didn't change your Pokemon outside of like the ability that it had. But like Mega Evolution changed the form of your Pokemon, and Z moves changed the move of your Pokemon significantly. Yeah,
exactly. And Dynamax is like it's like anyone can Dynamax and all that too.
No
like,
drawback, you can just do it. Yeah.
Exactly. The only drawback is you don't do one Pokemon in for 3 turns.
Yeah.
Right? But you pretty much the other team had
That's
always
the benefit though,
moved
saying the drawback, the fact that your Pokemon is more powerful, can use more powerful moves and like gain stats from these moves, and it can survive hits way more easily than it otherwise could have done. That's just a benefit, not even a drawback.
And the other team pretty much had to lose a Pokemon to it.
Yeah, you'd have to like I've seen doubles players who are able to play around it very smartly, but
exactly. Doubles work better with that.
Yeah. Singles, it's game over at that point. Yeah.
And again, it's also Pokemon focuses more on VGC, so it's always going to be on the double side. So
yeah.
We'll see. I think we're looking too much into it. I think we're kind of going off. I would love to come back to do a more battle focused podcast.
Mm-hmm. No, maybe we could preview the battle system when we know more. So let's get towards the end of the Gen 9 talk. I mean, what's your sort of big want from Gen 9? What's the one thing that you really want from Gen 9?
Bring the quality of life from Arceus. Bring move flexibility. Bring the I can evolve when I wanted to evolve.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what I want. I just want
that we're introducing Legends Arceus. You want to move them over to here.
Well, just make battling just quicker. Like I'm in and out.
I love the fact that you could change up moves at any time. You know, so like depending on what area you're going to and what kind of Pokemon you encounter, you could be like, okay, I can gear my sort of Typhlosion to actually start to buff himself, and you fire off ghost moves with these buffs and stuff like that, or I can make him more fire focused and stuff like that. Yeah.
Especially how TMs work in you don't lose them.
Oh yeah, no, so I don't know why they did that with the remake. It was such a crazy decision.
But again, because that's the whole thing. We went back how it was, but my point more is
they say that, but they changed some other stuff. I mean, we won't go into it now, but
now it's like, okay, this Pokemon can learn Stone Edge. Cool, I'll just give it to it because I can change it whenever I want.
Yes, yeah.
Right, and that's more what I would want. Whereas I have the flexibility of just flipping around my long as the Pokemon knows that move, I can switch to when I need to. So for battling, for even in the game, right, depending on what Gym Lee I'm fighting, right, like I might not need Rock for against this one, but I may need a support move, or I may want a healing move instead, or
you might want to set up instead. Yeah.
So I think that flexibility is great. Right, it's like, okay, I need to go back to this person, do this. Okay, then do this. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff is like a bit frustrating. But yeah, like just like quality of life. Like in terms of gameplay, it's not much I can really think of like what I want. Again, I want battles back, and I think that's where we're getting more of a traditional Pokemon. I know that being selfish, that's what I want. But
it's a big part of Pokemon. I mean, from the very beginning, it's all about collecting, all about battling, and having all these new experiences. So I don't think it's necessarily selfish more than it is, part of the core experience that you've sort of, grown with and have always expected, And, we've had the let's go of not battling, and it didn't make it a better game. So,
but for example, I know like Mr. Mitch George, he wants Pokemon to be like Arceus now. He does not want to go back.
And I think you're always going to have a dichotomy of people. When it comes to any sort of franchise or any sort of thing, there are people who are going to have preferences to one thing and preferences to other. Where I sort of fall down on is I think there's room for both, where you have this style and you have that style. And it just seems like where Game Freak are sort of thinking is where, perhaps we'll incorporate things from this new style, from this new evolution, quote unquote, of Pokemon, and have things maybe from the old style. And I think it's hard for them in the sense that I think Legends Arceus is probably like the highest rated Pokemon game we've had in years. From a critical standpoint. But for example, Sword and Shield would have been a lot better if, and this is the biggest thing I want from Gen 9, is the story was a bit more coherent, if it was just, thought about a bit more. Because the outline was there for me, but the execution of it was just horrible, completely horrible. So, yeah, I mean, let's see in the next 10 years what we get. Because I don't necessarily think the sort of Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4, like up to Gen 6 kind of style of Pokemon game is completely lost. but I think it's going to be rarer that we see it. And who knows? Maybe like where Legends Arceus, kind of lacked for you, maybe Gen 9 can actually, sort of show you a different style and be like, you know what, this is how we can make it work properly. So, yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I think for me, it's honestly, I just want quality of life change. I think Pokemon has been lacking those for quite a while, and maybe a bit more online stuff. Just like bring it more to just like just generation and not keeping it more.
There's two things that Pokemon and Nintendo don't do, and that's online. Just good online. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, make it easier for like trade, and like they've been getting better with that, but like still like code and all that. It's like how Sword and Shield work, right? Like if I want to join your raid battle, like okay, give me your code.
Yeah.
What's your code? Like just that kind of stuff. Like
make it easier.
Make it. Because again, like, are we gonna have the idea of like raids and stuff like?
I don't think so. No, I don't think.
Me neither. But I'm just curious how they're going to add things like that. It will be that idea.
Yeah. Maybe there'll be like facilities where you can do that. Maybe like how Pokemon Emerald and Platinum had the Battle Frontier and stuff. Maybe something like that. But
we also do like Battle Tower of 2 people.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be a lot of fun. Where you don't have to have a cult with an NPC. You can have an actual person with you,
exactly,
and you can coordinate on oh my god. Mate, they should hire you because you're full of good ideas.
But things like that, I think we're going too much stuff in what we hope, and I think when we go more in summer, it'd be a good idea. And then it should be like, seeing how the outcome is coming from. Like,
this is the only time we're going to be able to get this out because we're so ignorant of what this is. So get out of your system. But I think I'm pretty much done on the Gen 9 wrap up. I'm very excited to finally dig into it, and I just hope it's a more complete experience than Sword and Shield was. And I've finished Legends Arceus. I've enjoyed the heck out of it, but I think sort of post game I'm a little bit lost for what to do. So I hope there's a bit more post game, where basically I need a mix of Sword and Shield and Legends Arceus together, and let's see how that cooks. And hopefully it cooks nicely.
Yeah, and I think
I'd like a piece of that.
I felt like Sword and Shield became a good complete thing after the DLC.
Yes,
yeah, I think totally. Hopefully this 100%, one is more complete on release, and then don't have that third game like they have not been done in a while, but like make it add DLC, which is maybe a different area, or maybe like add more maybe Arceus stylings of it or something.
More story, give me more story.
Or story, but like which I liked in what I really liked from the DLC of Sword and Shield was like it was very story based. Like bringing your Pokemon on an adventure or finding the idea why just your Pokemon and stuff like that, like which was very much here's a story instead of like just going out in the wild.
Yeah, definitely. Because as much as I love exploration, it's not a replacement for a story. Yeah. Have you got any last thoughts on Gen 9 before we move on?
No, I think I'm excited to see what comes up, and until then, love hearing all the speculation, all the fan art we're getting of all the starters.
Yeah. I love artists. They're so quick. Like when it comes to Pokemon Masters, when you see a new pair in a different costume, like give it half an hour and someone's already like drawn something for it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and on the Discord for the YouTube listeners, if you want to jump in, there's lots of art that's posted every day or every week. Yeah, just jump on down and come hang out. So yeah, we'll move on to the next section. Where the Helioptile is Pokemon sleep. Just where is it? Just where is it? I've lived for nearly 3 years waiting for this one product that I wanted, and I thought the Pokemon Presents. I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna have my tea, I'm gonna sit down, and they're gonna start with Pokemon Sleep. You've been waiting for it. Here it is, and yeah, once again, they have neglected Pokemon Sleep. Darth, where is Pokemon Sleep? What's happened to this thing? Why is it giving us nightmares?
It's sleep like Snorlax. Now they need to invent a Pokemon Flute to wake it up.
Oh, so it's like when you a Christmas present, but batteries are not included. You're saying in order to get Pokemon Sleep, you need to get the Pokemon Flute accessory first.
Yes, like I think I don't know where it is. I think it is. Honestly, I think we're not going to see that ever again. I think how far, like Google has been doing their Fitbit sleep stuff. Like I just don't see. I could see come up from it is, hey, here's Pokemon Sleep Google accessory bobber. Like it being part of something else. Like I don't think it's going to be its own thing.
Sorry. Yeah.
Like, I don't think Pokemon doing it like as its own thing. I think it could be maybe like part of like the Google like sleep tracker or whatever, or you know, like give it to something else, like give it a uniqueness to.
But why won't they talk about it? Why won't they say anything about it?
Because everyone memed it and they're sad and ashamed.
There's nothing to be sad about. It's a good thing. It's speculative talk. You're getting attention. That's what you should be wanting.
Yeah, I know. I think I don't know where it's gonna be. Like, what do you want to hear? Pika 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 when you wake up.
Okay, yeah. That was okay. We're moving on. We're definitely just moving on.
I'm just saying, like, it could be like an annoying alarm clock.
Nope. We're moving on.
Phone call. You got a phone call. Remember that from the show?
It's time for the unknown fact of the week with Darstridius. So yeah, every week we look at unknown fact about Pokemon, and this week it comes from a Reddit user called L285. Did you know that Basculegion is the first Pokemon to have all 5 vowels in the English name? So in total, there's 36 Pokemon that have exactly 4 different vowels in their name. 16 are missing a U, 7 are missing an O, 6 are missing an A, 4 are missing an E, and 3 are missing an I. Not like an I, as in like the letter I. There are no Pokemon that have more than 5 vowels in total in their name. There are 16 Pokemon that exactly have 5. All of the above treat Y as not being a vowel and do not include words added on for different forms like Mega and Alolan. So yeah, pretty cool fact of the week.
Yeah,
I remember
pretty cool Pokemon.
Old Pokemon, back in my day, like Gen 2, for example. I only just clocked onto this recently, but like the reason why is for Alligator without an E or an O at the end is because there was a character limit in those games. So for Alligator with a TR, it is there because of a correct character limit, and they've never just updated it. They've kept it as is. That's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think about that, but yeah, you're right. That back in the day was character limits, and that's it's a mouthful. So it's hard to say. It's kind of still weird, and makes sense why it has everything with vowel in it.
Instead of like mischievous, it's mischievous. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, that's the unknown fact of the week, and that basically brings us to the end of the episode. So Darstridius, thank you very much for joining us. Where can the good people find you?
Pretty much on Twitter at Darstridius, and I'm on your Discord. Excited to talk Pokemon Generation 9.
Yeah, and we'll definitely have to have you back. So no, thanks again for joining, and you can find us on the PokeRamble.com. Sorry, PokeRamble.com, not the PokeRamble.com. PokeRamble.com. All the links are in the description. I'll put a link to Darstridius' Twitter on there as well. But till next time, gotta catch them all. Bye.